Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We might be in a Europa League final, but we have to face the reality that is the Premier League. We face West Ham at home, but there are two places below us in 17th. We are in 15th, but it seems like a bottom of the table clash, which in reality, based on the facts, that's what it is. But with Man United having a much bigger focus, being that Europa League final, this game and the games leading up to the Europa League final, on the one hand, you could say it's irrelevant, but on the other hand, you also have to look at winning momentum. I certainly do not want to go into that final with a draw or even losses in our record leading up to the final. We need to start winning games and getting some positive momentum so that we can have that feeling of winning games leading into that final. And of course, the final is against Spurs, Premier League opposition. So, what better way to prepare for that than playing against Premier League teams with their physicality, with the way that they have high energy, with the way that they press, etc. And to be told, truthfully, Graham Potter, now at West Ham, is kind of still finding his feet. We know that at Brighton, he done excellently with the players that he had at his disposal. We know at Chelsea, you could argue he needed more time because he wasn't the best stint for him as a manager. But after being out for a while, he came back and he took on the West Ham job. And you can see he's still trying to figure out his players. He's still trying to figure out what type of formation is best to play with these players. And I'm sure he will get the time at West Ham if they don't get relegated, which kind of looks like the case in my opinion. But in all honesty, we must be mindful of the fact that West Ham is a team that can actually win us. Based on how we play in the Premier League, we can lose. And that is something that I do not want. I don't want us to keep losing games, especially in the Premier League. Even though playing to win seems like a fruitless task, but it certainly is something that we must look towards. We must try and get the 3 points. We can't just draw, lose, and expect to be positive heading into that final. And yes, the changes that Amarim will be making for the games leading up to the final kind of makes it difficult in order to try and have that consistency in the way we want to play. But on the other hand, we need to be mindful of the fact that we need to keep players fit. Players need to be fresh. They need to have the right amount of energy and they need to be match fit for that final. Because anybody can start in a final, but being match fit is a completely different conversation entirely. Because De Ligt might be able to start that final, but he won't be match fit. And the same can be said for the likes of Ahmad, who is still coming back from injury and yes, has good performances since he's came on from the bench, most notably Brentford and of course against Athletic Bilbao. But in my opinion, we still need to be managing his minutes. He was one of the players like Lisandro Martinez who could have been out for the entire season, but he managed to work hard enough to get back playing at least. So I would not be risking Ahmad in this game or the Premier League games for that matter because yes, we have to win it for winning momentum, but again, it's so difficult. There's not really much reward for us even if we do win these games because we're only going to go up to 12th as the highest possible position in the Premier League. There's what, 3 games left for us: West Ham, Chelsea, and then after the Europa League final, hopefully we win it. We play Aston Villa, which again is another irrelevant game, especially if we do end up winning that Europa League final. Nobody's going to care about that game against Aston Villa other than the young players that we will be playing. Now, we know West Ham's players are quality. The likes of Jared Bowen being their captain and main player, Mohamed Kudus, Thomas Suchek. We know Wan Bissaka is playing there at West Ham. They have the likes of Nicholas Fulkrug, who is not really a prolific goal scorer, but certainly is a handful and can cause defenses problems when he is on his day. Certainly, I would be expecting us to win this game. We're playing at home. We just, won a amazing semi-final against Athletic Bilbao. We are in words that I want to put it, we are bouncing. We're still quite happy from that semi-final win, and we must take that energy into the West Ham game. I certainly think that Amarim will be playing a stronger team in this game, than the game against Chelsea ahead of that final. And for me, of course, Onana would be in goal. I think Mazraoui, Maguire, and Shaw will make up the back three. I think that because of West Ham's set piece ability and the players that are quite tall, Maguire needs to be starting in this game, obviously for his aerial ability. Like I said, I'm not going to be starting Ahmad in this game. I don't think it would be the right decision to be starting players that are going to be starting in that final. Maybe bring him on in the second half, give him some game time, continue to up his fitness levels. But Dogu can definitely start at right wing back. I don't think he has an issue of playing there. Left wing back, give Amas another opportunity. He certainly has shown that he can start and do a job for Manchester United at left wing back. In midfield, I've gone with Ugarte. Casemiro definitely needs to rest. The way he played in the semi-final in both legs, he does need a rest, especially if you want him to be just as good for that final. So Casemiro should not be playing any Premier League games leading up to that final, in my opinion. And Eriksen can go next to Ugarte to allow us to have a bit of more ball possession, to have that link between defense and attack, and to also help us try and play out from the back by having someone like Eriksen in midfield. The front three, I would go with Mount, who definitely after his 2 goals should be starting, continuing his positive momentum, and also building his match fitness to a level where he can also be looking to start in that Europa League final. Mainu can fill in the other number 10 role. Mount and Mainu can play either side, in my opinion, whether it be right or left. They can alternate. And I think that Mainu should be starting this game. Bruno needs a rest. Some might say he doesn't need a rest based on how good he is in terms of his match sharpness and fitness. But he needs to be rested. If it is only just this game that he gets rested, rest him. You could play him against Chelsea. You could not play him against Chelsea. It doesn't matter. He needs to be fit for that final. He's one of the players. The same goes for Ahmad and a few others. We cannot have them get injured ahead of that final. And of course, I would put Højlund up front. Yes, many people would want Cheeto to start, trying to rest Højlund, if you want to put it that way. But Højlund of late has started performing well. He started scoring goals again. So he should start to try and continue scoring, to have that feeling continuously within himself, and to build his confidence leading up to that Europa League final. Cheeto can come on in the second half. You can start him immediately from the second half if you want to give Højlund 45 and Cheeto 45 minutes. It does not matter. For me, Højlund needs to be playing, like Amorim said, in order to get his goal-scoring form back to where we know it should be, especially for that Europa League final. I want us to win. That's the bottom line. But let's see if Manchester United can do that. Let me know in the comment section how you think Amorim should be approaching these games heading into the Europa League final. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like. Have a wonderful weekend till we see each other again soon in the next one. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.